So, my name's Dr. Aziza Khabbush, and alongside my colleague here, Christina Myers, and SDG Global Advocate, Dr. Ala Morabit, who makes up the remainder of our dream team, we founded the Omnis Institute. Omnis Institute is basically a platform that amplifies the voices of local leaders and underrepresented leaders from around the world, who are quite often women, youth, and minorities. And we aim to raise their voices, give them recognition for their leadership, and to connect these local players with global actors. Now, we have a multi-pronged approach to this. It includes lots of research. We're both academics, so it's in our blood, which we drive through the Omnis Fund, our hands-on leadership and action program, which is based in Colombia, which Christina will talk about in a moment, and our mentorship program, which I'll be focusing on. So our mentorship program very much embraces the spirit of innovation. We work with young leaders from around the world, from Canada to Bangladesh, and we develop their leadership skills, focusing on research, public speaking, writing, and policy. And we do this through one-to-one mentorship and collaborative group learning. But one of the focal points of our program is the personal project. So each mentee has to work on their own personal project of their choosing, and we give them only 2 conditions. 1, it has to align with the SDGs somehow, and 2, it has to be realistic. We all want to save the world, but let's be honest, that's not going to happen in 3 months. So whilst Omnis Institute isn't a social enterprise, we really see ourselves as incubating the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs. The personal project provides this platform for these young leaders to put their ideas into actions. And the SDGs serve as a starting point for inspiration to help them connect issues in their local communities with the bigger global picture. And from there, we work together on the research, ideas, planning, and if possible, we connect them to resources and partners. So we've had a huge range of different projects from our mentees, from legal charities in El Salvador to women's leadership retreats. Recently, Mohammed, who is a mentee from Canada, decided to raise awareness of the issues faced by young LGBTQ Muslims in his community. And he decided to do this through putting together a graphic novel that would depict real-life stories of young LGBTQ Muslims in his community. And that would then be disseminated in libraries, schools, and the local communities in his city, Edmonton. Jasleen was another Canadian. We seemed to attract them. She took a novel approach to raising awareness about the racism faced by Sikh communities in Canada as well. And she did this through a series of T-shirts. And she would sell these T-shirts and funnel the profits back into local charities that are working on the ground to tackle this issue. So both of these mentees only had a few months to really put these ideas into action. But by leveraging the SDG framework and connecting the local issues to the bigger pictures, they were able to formulate innovative solutions to key social issues. And each of these projects has potential for greater sustainability and greater impact in wider communities. Investing in innovation doesn't just mean funneling millions of dollars into projects. That would be nice, but not all of us are millionaires. But if we invest our time and our expertise into mentoring and nurturing young leaders, we have the potential to create huge waves of impact. And maybe we can save the world. I'll pass it on to Christina.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say that I'm very happy to be here. I'm a little bit in a sugar rush because of all this gelato that I had for lunch. But as Aziza said, my name is Christina. I was myself an entrepreneur. I created a company when I was 21. So I'm especially happy to participate to a panel on this topic. So I was asked to present a case study. And I hope it would inspire you and also gives you insight on what is needed to create a social business and also a sustainable project. So as Aziza has said, through the Omnis Institute, we've been working with local leaders from all around the world and really highlighting the fact that local leaders are crucial in order to implement the SDGs. Local leaders are people who have dedicated their life to improve the situation of their communities, and usually who have been exploring every single way to make a living out of their social leadership. And as a result, trying to find ways to empower economically their own communities. So this year we went to Colombia. a country that is very close to my heart because I am from there, but also because local leaders are more needed than ever, especially after the signature of the peace agreement. The reality in Colombia is that local leaders are being killed in a daily basis. This year alone, 158 local leaders were killed. So we went to a community of one of our leaders with leaders from all around Colombia in order to see how we could amplify their voice and as a result amplify peace in Colombia. We had a partnership with Unilever, which also shows how NGOs such as the Omnis Institute could collaborate with the private sector for such projects. So the program was organized with the local leaders, but also by them. And many of them said that they wanted to explore ways to tackle what they call the barriga vacía experience. For the ones who don't speak Spanish, this means that many of them were actually hungry and struggling to find food because they were working on social initiatives. So with every single one of our leaders, we find ways to actually challenge this and to tackle this huge problem. So let me introduce you to Viviana. Viviana is one of our leaders. She was a victim of the Colombian War and became pregnant out of an abusive relationship when she was only 15. She managed to be the only person of her family to go to university because she wanted to be a lawyer and defend the rights of women who could at some point, of girls and women who could at some point face the same inequalities that she had faced. So now she leads a movement of men and women to raise awareness on violence against women, women's reproductive rights, and also abusive relationships. And she's looking at how to take these initiatives and to expand it, but she's not finding the way. So together we understood that it was very important for her to be able to measure the impact of her work, the social impact of her work, in order to be able to sell her initiatives to other institutions, but also to media, and also to be recognized for her work. Felipe is a social entrepreneur who grew up seeing how people with disabilities would really struggle to find and to buy devices that would enable them to live their lives with their disabilities. Felipe is an inventor. He has ideas all the time. So he started creating those devices in his own room with products that he would find in his own house. And he saw how the products that he was creating and developing were actually very, very useful to improve the lives of people with disabilities. So he wanted to expand. But he knew this number one thing. He knew that he didn't want to sell his products and his inventions because his clients were actually people from very low incomes. So he created a business model where he would have make videos where he would teach people and everyone, really everyone, to make those devices at home. And with this model, he's actually managing to sell and to live out of this idea with YouTubes and social media ideas that he has. So just as a wrap up, I think today we wanted to share 4 main ideas with you. The first one being that individual actions are very necessary to achieve the SDGs. And I think all your leadership today and all those ideas that we have seen are really a good example for that. And as Aziza said, that we can really challenge what investment and what innovation means. The second one is that we can use the SDGs as a source of inspiration to tackle those issues. We can look around and find all the social issues that we face on a daily basis and use the SDGs to try to find solutions that we want to implement. The 2 last points are that we really need to measure the social impact of our initiatives in order to expand them, but also to make them stronger, like gathering feedback, etc. I think it's a topic that has been raised this morning as well, and I'm happy, we're very happy to discuss this. Also as academic, that I'm guessing it helps. Also, the last point is, as Felipe, to really try to innovate in business models. I think if we do innovate in business models, we can find ways to not losing the essence of like the social projects that we might have, but innovating in ways on how to sell them. So thank you very much.
Thank you.